And all greetings, this is Gillesmansillon. I thought I'd come and say hello, wish you a good day. I'm going to continue to talk about the spiritual things, about the interdimensional nature of living beings. And so for those things are not yet known by the collective of humanity, it is important to anchor those energies. For now, I'm talking about I'm making those videos every day. Soon I may have to step aside and do it like once a week. But for now, I do have the time. And so thank you for tuning into those videos and for supporting this energy, these new energies of the ascension process, for it is very important. We're all very important. I also wanted to say that it's important to share our stories. We all have a story. Our life is like a story. I think it is Shakespeare who said in Macbeth, life is a tale told by an idiot. We're not very that smart in the story we tell ourselves sometimes, but yes, it's about not being in judgment, to continue to cultivate the story of our life, to embellish it, and to share our story. Sometimes sharing our story is assisting other people with their own story. For everybody is a story, an history within the universe. We're all contributing to the evolution of the universe, and to be as true as possible in sharing your story, because the only place where it's acceptable to embellish is when you write a work of fiction. When you work of fiction, it is okay to embellish, to add details, even if it's not true. Although often reality, what we call reality, is often more spectacular and more amazing than any form of fiction, because reality is governed by the unexpected in many sense. And so sharing your story to understand, to enrich your story and cultivate the positive ideas and thoughts. I'm going to pull a few cards and I'm going to discuss a few ideas. I'm going to pull 5 cards. It's past, present, and future. For the past cannot be changed. It is gone. It is done. And the future is not already here. But yet, although we cannot change the past, every day we are changing it by our perception of it. It means we are. So it is a reconditioning every day of what the past was, depending on our vision of the past, and as we create in the present, we are determining the future that is to come. Although there is a supervision from the soul that is supervising it, or was a future that has been decided on high before we even came here to this world. So the past is action, the present is courage, and the future is love. So it's quite wonderful. So what we're working on is hesitation. So we do not want to hesitate too much. At some point, we want to make a leap of faith and stick to it. We want to stop the resolution and move into action. and the outcome will be listening. It will be about listening, about being able to hear the words of the spirit. Those are whispered. There are all kinds of other subtle messages that life is sending us. There is always subtle messages that life. So it's about moving, accepting that life is one. Life is intelligence. There is a higher intelligence that oversees the process of life, and this life is communicating through all beings and all things beyond the level of consciousness of the linear consciousness of the 3D ego. I hope this resonates with you and that you will be able to hear more, to become clear audience eventually, so we can hear so much more beyond this dimension. I was talking about the chakras. The chakras are energy centers that are aligned on the vertical axis, and they are real thing. The center of energies that are not known by contemporary science, although a little bit more in the Eastern in Asia, because of the acupuncture and the Dharma and the Hinduist and they have discovered that, and they have more integrated this knowledge for acupuncture, maybe more advanced than Western medicine. I'm not saying that there are some good things in pharmaceutical, but the acupuncture are understanding that life is governed by 5 energies, which is air, water, which is fire, water, metal, wood, and earth. So because there's the 4 elements and the 5 energies, and when those energies are in harmony, everything goes well. But when there is a blockage on any level of those energies, then there is the acupuncture can unlock the blockages and return those 5 energies that can gather at the center. And so through the cycle of generation and destruction. of the so anyway those chakras are return to my idea of talking about the chakras connected to the light body. As we open our third eye, we'll be able to see more the chakra, to feel more the energy, and unlock the blockages that we may have within any chakras. A good exercise is to imagine any form of light, any color of light. Yesterday I was working with the turquoise, then I worked with turquoise light, and then I worked with the aquamarine light, and then I moved into the ruby light. And the idea is to visualize it above your head, and then bring it down to your crown, and then to your third eye, and then to your throat, and then to your heart, and then to your solar plexus, and then to your navel, and then to your roots, and then send it to the earth, and then return it to the great central sun. So those lights, because that will assist you as you do this exercise to become more and more aware of your own chakra system. For there are hundreds of other other chakras that we have physically and astrally. Yesterday I was talking about to being centered in the heart, but to be connected to the navel, to be connected. The second and fourth chakra needs to be connected in order for us to be grounded. But we also want to connect to the sixth chakra, the third eye. It is where the ascension is happening, because as we open our chakras, we want to go into meditation. And we open our third eye and we move into the astral plane. We discover that power, that we can leave our consciousness, can leave our physical body and move into the upper fourth dimension, even to the fifth dimension. And understanding, when we do that, we are protected by the violet light, by the blue sword of Michael, the blue sword of power. Those are powerful energies that we will learn to use. And when we do that, we can move into the astral plane and move into another dimension. And we have to leave the whole world behind, all the physical world, all the loved ones, everything can disappear and vanish. And because all those higher dimensions, in the fourth and fifth dimension, are real dimension, not physical, but as real as it's like in a dream. It feels real when we dream it. And it's highly populated. Every level of each dimension and sub-level is highly populated with all kinds of spirits and beings. And so what we want is to move into this dimension and feel that we're floating on cloud, that we feel joy, we feel oneness, and it's like we can walk on clouds. This image of going into a cloud is something that is used in hypnosis to bring someone into the state of total relaxation. So we can bring a focal point, we can direct a focal point of the attention of the person into something that is wanted. So when you feel like you're walking on clouds, like you're feeling your God self, you're feeling like you know that all is well, and all will be well from now on. When you do that, you fix you bring yourself into a point where you assist the world in finding this resolution. As you resolve that part of the parameters within yourself, the whole world is being upgraded in relationship to your own program of ascension. And so we're transforming the world by our visions, understanding our power of creator are immense. And then so we learn to move into this dimension of total joy, total bliss, we can float on cloud, walk on cloud, we can imagine anything we can imagine, that we are greeted by amazing lights, we're amazing beings, we can create any situation, and then we come back to our physical body. But and then eventually we come back to our physical body. We have a responsibility inside the physical matrix. But understanding we can return at any time. Once you open the doorway to these astral planes, you learn how to do it consciously. You can return at any time. For we can receive there's two ways to receive information. One through the astral body, but when we receive through the astral body, we receive it once, and then we have to go into memory to recall it. But when we receive it through the soul, we can always repeat the experience. It is something that is integrated. And so we had to create the separation from God, from the God self, in order to discover God, to rediscover, to remember. Play the game of duality, we chose to play that game of duality, but now we have to stop to play, to stop. It's a game no longer played. We want to play a new game, the game of unity, the game of the gold ring, the game of love and light and integration and well-being. And so it's about stopping the pendulum of duality. It is like a pendulum, but then when we stop it, and we can stop it in others as well, we align into the single pillar of light, the single light, the light stream that goes all the way to the great central sun and to the core of the earth. Understanding that the illusions can be real. It depends what we choose. If we choose to believe in something, it becomes real for us. That is our power. It is amazing power. But if we stop believing in illusions, we can choose to believe in something higher, something more beautiful. It's still an illusion, but it is so much more enjoyable to live when we live in joy and acceptance. So in this higher dimension, we change the parameters of the game. We choose the parameters of the game. We become master of our own reality. And slowly but surely, we'll be able to bring down into this physical plane where we'll be in acceptance of other people's cycle, but we'll be in control of our own energy. And we can use this exercise to raise our frequency to the upper fourth and fifth dimension or above. Understanding whenever there is a moment of joy and happiness that you feel in your life, you're no longer part of the 3D world. You're already on the higher planes. Even though it feels like we're still there, it's joy and freedom and happiness. It doesn't belong to the world of survival, of the world of sensory perception, of the standard three-dimensional frequency. And every time you feel joy, you feel happiness, you're assisting the world in its transition. What we need is to exit the matrix. It's up to this movie Matrix was inspired by heaven. It was something that was guided by heaven. If you make abstraction of special effects and the violent combats and whatever, at some point the hero, for you are the singularity. You are meant to escape the matrix, to free yourself from the matrix. And the hero, just at some point, he can stop the bullets. He can fly in the sky. He knows that he controls the matrix. He finds resolution of that, and he knows that it's all an illusion. So you can set the new rules for the new game, the game of happiness and joy and well-being. Understanding that all happens for a reason. There is a reason for everything, and even because you are here for a reason. The galactics and their ships of light are here for a reason. And it becomes more and more possible for this point of contact with the higher planes. That will be coming soon. The plan and projection that we've made for our life are reaching the point of completion. It is an end of the cycle. Everything is coming to completion. We're going to be free to manifest and move into the next level, where it's going to be a new game, a new level. So it is we're reaching that point. By the solstice will definitely 11:11 stargates in between those time. The solstice will completely change everything. To realize that, like in the song Stairway to Heaven, all are one and one is all. It says at the end, it's a very powerful statement that was made early on about this law of one. And understand we will soon be meeting all your guides, all those celestial beings, those divine beings of light. We will soon meet them in the physical. They will be coming down once the world will have achieved that peace. And for now, the higher beings of light, they communicate with us through telepathy, through dreams, through meditation. So pay attention to your dream. They're all very symbolic. What I need to ask is, are you ready for this contact? Are you ready to meet celestial beings? If you said yes, it's good. Even if you cannot say yes, just you have your intention of preparing yourself. The soul understands the intention and is preparing you for this encounter, this meeting. I can't wait. I'm communicating with my guides, but I know them for decades, and we've been communicating and assisting me. They've always been here in my life. Like your guides have always been here in your life. But I was not a chance in the early 90s. I had a chance to meet them in person, so to speak, and so. But I can't wait to elevate my frequency so they can be fully present at all time within my consciousness, and so. Once we exit the matrix, we're not going to lose our physical body or our ego. The ego will be transmuted from the lower ego, the negative ego of the 3D, to the 5D ego, the ego of the soul. The individual, it's not an ego, but it's the individuality of the soul. And the physical will not vanish. It's just going to be upgraded. and the lower and the higher self will become one, and it's going to be one frequency. For once we achieve this ascension, all dimensions are dismissed. It's all dimensions are becoming one, from the 0 point to the first dimension, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 27, 516 dimension. Everything is one dimension. The more unity consciousness we can integrate, the grander the unity. But there will always be more level of unity, for God is infinite, so there'll never be an end to our spiritual evolution. And when you're looking for answers, just ask your higher self. Your higher self has the answer, your God self, your own God self. You have your own God self and your own higher self, and those beings are divinely united, and they work together to bring you into this alignment. So always pray, invoke the presence of God within yourself. It's more powerful than supplication, although it's good to pray, but to recognize, to recall, to remember this inner presence of God within yourself will accelerate the process. We'll pull a few cards with the Akash. We'll pull 4 cards. The highest wisdom is the nun or the monk. It's about not dispersing our energy, not to allowing ourselves to be too distracted. We can still enjoy a fully abundant, a rich life, and it's not about being the vows of poverty or celibacy. Those are not necessary. You can have a very fulfilling sex life and a fulfilling business life, but it's not distracting your energies with those things that are no longer needed to distract you. That's the way I read the cards, so it's to keep your energies together. What we need to understand is to free ourselves from imprisonment and slavery. For the door is open, and the door has always been open. It's just a matter of trusting enough to get out of the cage and to fly. It's like we're within this possibility. I'm not saying to jump out of a cliff or a building, but it's like if you're going to learn to fly, do it from the ground up. For anti-gravity, it's something we might learn to eventually. For gravity is just as reliable as anti-gravity once we know how to use it. And so once we free ourselves from imprisonment and slavery, we find the great priest or priestess. We return. We have all those powers that we've already mastered in the past that will be returning into our consciousness. We'll be fully empowered, and we will get other new powers as well that will come, but we want to use those powers with love and wisdom always for the highest good of all. What we need to do is the bride of the groom. We have to prepare ourselves for very deep, powerful relationship. For that's maybe it's very personal, but something it depends. If you're already in a relationship, just find keep the magic alive and enjoy that. Be grateful for that, and if you're not, just be ready. Prepare yourself for what is really wanted. What for your soul already knows all the beings of the earth. They know which ones are the match for you and which ones are not a match for you. And the outcome is spirituality and religion. It's about following your path, following the spiritual ascension path, the spiritual way, and to remain true to yourself, to sign on self, be true. I would say to pay attention to dreams. In dreams are very symbolic. It means in dreams, it's not all the souls. When you have all those we have those experiences in dreams, it is always a part of ourself that is symbolic of something else. It's always a part of ourself, part of our higher self, for there is only one universal greater self, and the higher self, even a higher self has a higher self that has a higher self. But those are energies that are coming down as part of ourself to give us information. Sometimes it's not easy to interpret our dream, but it is important to understand that there is symbolism within dream that is being communicated, and to never program yourself for what is unwanted. Do not say to the universe, I do not want that, because that's what you're going to get. The universe, your creator, and whatever you put your energy on is what will manifest. So it's better to focus on abundance than in the absence of lack. It's better to focus on love than the absence, than not wanting to not have love. So to just focus on what is wanted. In hypnosis, we know that. Also, the double negative do not work. The universe doesn't work like that. Consciousness does not work like that. It's okay, and do not judge yourself for the test. It's a period of test, so we are all tested. Sometimes we feel we failed the test, but in truth, we do not know. So do not judge the test. Do not judge yourself for believing you succeeding or not succeeding. It's about you have to trust the process, and get on with the program. Play the game of your soul. Whatever your inner message, your inner story is just work within that, and allow yourself to be open, to be receptive. For I don't have any answers for you, in essence. I'm just here. I'm just learning and growing. The more I learn, the less I know. The more I know that I do not know, and the more I know that I do not know, the more energy and spiritual energy and consciousness comes to me. For it is the most powerful. Socrates knew that he knew only one thing, is that he did not know, and that's what made him so wise. So the more you know you do not know, just be humble and receive each and every day the information that is just be a cooperative component with your soul, with your inner beings, with your inner self, as much as possible. I'm going to finish with a song, pull one more card, and the paintings behind me. This is a painting of was about 200. I did about 200 works on paper. This since the beginning of the year. I've been quite prolific, and this is it's like a wash. It's like it's an acrylic, but it's signed here, and it's like a Buddha that's like looking down on the earth. It's like in a meditative state, and it possesses the Ankh. The Ankh is the Egyptian symbol that was a communication. Was like the cell phones they use, but it was much more multidimensional, and all the immortals could communicate through the Ankh. It is the communion of the circle and the cross. It's the spirit and the matter that is communing, that is coming together at the connection between the realms. And here he's got this God self, or his master guide, that's like looking at him. He's got his eyes always concentrated, focalized on. It's like God is always just looking at you, always not putting. Sometimes there is pressure, but God is love and joy and bliss. And there is so much love that is coming. Is to understand you always have the attention of your presence. Your presence is never busy with something else. It's always on you, right? The attention. And here he's got the attention of these higher beings. And is this Buddha with his master guide. And here is a painting of the solar system. It's almost done. What I did recently, since I last showed the painting, is I changed all the colors of the symbols in black. I've written all the symbols of black. I already talked about the little planets that are represented in this painting in the past video. And then there is this energy field that surrounds Neptune. That's around Neptune and all the other planets, and here I put the violet. It was black, and now it's violet. The last thing I may do is to work on the 4 large planets. For sometimes it's like in life, we have a plan. It's like painting a painting is very educational. We have a plan, so we start with the plan, and so I start with the painting. But then I reach a point where all that I've decided is done. And so I have to back out and let go and wait to see what is needed next. It's like to only know what the next step will be. That should be good enough to have enough distance when you do something, and then you wait, and then there is something immediately. What's the priority? What's the next step? The next thing to do? Sometimes I didn't know what to do until I saw that it was the violet that I needed to put over the energy field. And then after that, I realized that I had to put some black paint over the gray paint that symbolized the symbols. And now I see that maybe I can work on those larger planets. And then once this is done, something else may come up that will tell me, well, this is what I have to do. We don't know. We don't need to know the outcome. We just need to know what to do next. So I'm going to finish with a song, pull another card. It's a song that went through my mind. It's an old folk song about the truth that is marching on. We cannot stop the truth. The truth will always come out sooner or later. so just be aligned with this truth and march on with the truth. It goes like this. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vantage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He has lost the faithful lighting of his terrible sweet sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make man holy, let us live to make man free, as truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Well, thank you very much for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I'll put one more card. I wanted to say that sometimes it may take me a while to respond to comments or to emails, because for 5 days I've been deprived of internet. It's this company I'm using. They have some problem with one of their antennas, and I'm not getting any reception at home. I have to walk down in town for like 400, 300 meters, and then poof, everything goes back on my phone. I have to go under the rain to respond to my email, and then I find places that are okay, so I can do that, but it's annoying, and I've been like I try to go to the shop where of the company, and they say, well, it's like, yeah, there is a problem with your antenna. It's like for 5 days that we haven't received any, but they really don't care. They say, we're only here to sell phone. We couldn't care less about any of those problems. They're not our business. And so I send them a message. So maybe you should check it out. It might take them a week, a month to figure out that they have a problem. A technical problem with that, and so but it made me realize that sometimes we're addicted to screen. It's like to live 5 days without internet access. Sometimes I feel like, I want to check that out. I want to look into Wikipedia, so I pick up my phone and I want to check it out, and it's like, oh, we have no connection. Well, okay, well, it's okay, but there is a little addiction to screen, so it's okay to be free from that and not to worry about it. So it's like, so if I take a little while to respond to emails or comments, it's because I'm not receiving them right away. I have to walk inside the town, make a few hundred meters outside of my house to return to the connection, and hopefully they will be fixed soon. The card of the day is the 5 of Ariel. You are not obligated to meet all the challenges by yourself. Help is right at hand. Negative thoughts do not go in the right direction. So it is the kind of worry, and we do not want to worry, because so it's about, we're asking for help, we're asking for assistance from our God self, from our guide, so that we allow the flow. Just expressing those ideas, it may be because I was expressing this somewhat minimal frustration of being disconnected from the internet, drawn on this card and say, well, you don't have to worry about it. And so I'm going to put one more card. It's the Lady of Ariel. Mature, practical spirit, generous, happy. Take care of yourself and those you love. Capacity to make everything more beautiful. Advices that are practical and wise. So I hope the advices I gave you were practical and wise. It is a card of abundance. It is a card of practical as well. We have to be both esoterical advices are good, but also practical advices are good. So follow your heart and follow your inner sense of well-being, and focus more and more into that. Project yourself into the higher astral planes. Cultivate your vision, cultivate this sense of well-being, and know you can always return to those higher planes whenever you need. Let the world behind you and go into this, make the peace within yourself, and so you'll be free to travel. And then when you return, you bring some of that inner light, that higher light, into your physical body, into this experience, and we're assisting the planet each and every day with those process and programs. I thank you very much, and wish you a wonderful day. Namaste.